Fake BRICS news and fifth-generation warfare. Is the attack on Iran an attack on BRICS? Why has Iran-Israel conflict triggered NATO Clause 5 among BRICS experts? All of the so-called BRICS analysts are mouthing the same narratives on Iran-Israel. Interestingly, none of them are resident nationals of BRICS nations. How can relics of the unipolar dollarized world, with a mob of social media followers and zero critical thinking abilities, analyze BRICS policies? Disclaimer: this video is not meant for people without the ability to think for themselves and introspect. If you are looking for sensational fake news like World War III, nuclear war and BRICS dropped a bombshell, then it is recommended to join the online mob of Western BRICS social media channels. This video is not meant for views, subscribers or ad revenues. This video is meant to put things on record. Before we jump directly into the Iran-Israel conflict and whether the attack on Iran is an attack on BRICS, let us start by creating a stable foundation to debunk ongoing narratives in the name of BRICS. Let us start with what fifth-generation warfare is all about. Of course, it is a non-military, non-kinetic form of warfare targeting non-combatant citizens using social media manipulation and propaganda. The crux of propaganda warfare, or information warfare, is to influence public opinion and shape how they perceive reality, spread calculated misleading information, and create an atmosphere of distrust. With this understanding of fifth-generation warfare, here are a couple of simple questions to introspect. How many of the BRICS experts on social media have been a resident or domiciled in BRICS countries in the last 5 years? And how many of them are Western experts? For how many years have you seen BRICS experts making flashy World War III thumbnails to attract online views to their videos? And what happens to their video views when they make a regular thumbnail to discuss positive news developments? Can monetized speech be categorized as free speech? How many geopolitical experts disclose their conflict of interest before sharing their personal opinions as geopolitical analysis? And what is their analytical accuracy rate? Fake news peddled on mainstream media was the springboard for the rise of independent media and social media analysts. Instead of using the opportunity to move out of Western propaganda, all of the social media experts, both Western and non-Western experts, are merely reading the fake news from mainstream media and repeating the same news to their online followers. Quite often you can see a group of 2 to 3 Western citizens come together, randomly discuss the fake news headlines, collectively agree with each other, no difference of opinion or counter questions, zero critical thinking ability and no accountability. Neither their peers nor their followers ever question their past incorrect analysis and convenient omission of certain facts from their analysis. These are all hallmarks of information warfare being unleashed in the name of BRICS. BRICS Plus has already lost the information warfare to social media experts with a globalist-leaning mindset. These experts have successfully branded the non-Western grouping of nations as a Russia-China-led mob, a counterweight of sorts to the Western mob called NATO and its allies. Basically, they have exported the exoskeleton of NATO and implanted it on top of BRICS. Since BRICS is intertwined with multipolarity, these binary globalist experts have labeled BRICS as Russia, China, Iran to juxtapose Western allied groupings. However, in reality, BRICS is about equality where all 10 countries have equal rights and equal privileges, a concept which is alien to these Western BRICS experts. Every country is free to make its independent decisions, and consensus in BRICS Plus needs to be collective and unanimous. Russia, China and Iran don't wear an extra pair of horns during BRICS summits, and neither do the other 7 countries of the group kowtow to policies decided by these 3 members. Most Western BRICS experts express positive opinions about Russia and China without disclosing their conflict of interest. Except Russia, China and maybe Iran, none of the media or citizens of other BRICS countries entertain these so-called BRICS influencers. Citizens of the Global South have suffered for centuries by Western exploitative propaganda and are no longer keen on tolerating it. Also, these Western analysts have nothing to gain from other BRICS nations, be it networking or ad revenues. And this is a key factor why their BRICS opinions are always condescending towards 7 out of 10 BRICS countries and their opinions skewed, biased, clueless and misinformed. Have you ever seen the Emirati media engaging with these Western experts? How many times have you ever seen these Western social media channels host people from Africa, South America, India, Indonesia, etc. to unbiasedly discuss their contributions to and their expectations from BRICS? Even if these Western propagandists somehow consider allowing a non-white, non-Western guest on their platform, they will ensure that their views are in sync with colonial-era narratives. To put things clearly, in perspective and on record, BRICS is not a mob, and neither does its policy display a mob mentality. Independent decisions of core member countries will be passed as a consensus only if unanimously agreed by all. None of the BRICS policies will be decided to please Western self-proclaimed BRICS analyst opinions. And neither will these Western citizens be in a position to ever understand the direction and impact of BRICS policies. Russia and China are members of BRICS grouping, and not the other way around. BRICS is not a member of the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China. Russia and China have consciously chosen a policy to cut down their relations with the West in the days to come. Iran is currently in a developing situation. As far as the other 7 countries, they will act as a bridge between the West and BRICS. This is important to the decolonization process of the Global South. Brazil, India and South Africa's presence in the G7 summit is a testament that the voice of Global South is being raised in all Western summits, and China is not part of the Global South. 3 out of 5 initial members being present in G7 is conveniently overlooked in all BRICS narratives. Ever wondered why? Because Brazil, South American continent, India, Indian subcontinent, and South Africa, entire African continent, have suffered Western colonization, slavery and exploitation. And acknowledging these historical crimes is impossible for current Western BRICS opinion makers. It is easier for them to come to an arrangement with Russians and Chinese rather than with the people of the Global South. Now that we have set the basic framework to understand Western bias along with the 5th-generation warfare methodology, let's look at the Iran-Israel conflict. First off, what is the Iran-Israel conflict all about? Is this a fight between 2 nations? Is it a religious war of Jewish state of Israel versus Islamic State of Iran? Is this conflict about fighting for the Palestinian cause or fighting against a proxy war? Why is an attack on Iran considered an attack on BRICS? But same Western experts push agenda-filled narratives during regime change attempts within Brazil, India and South Africa. Why is that not an attack on BRICS?
Israel adopted an aggressive posture after the terrorist attack by Hamas on 7 October 2023. At the time, none of these BRICS experts condemned the act of terrorism against Israel. Instead, many of the BRICS social media influencers either denied the brutal terrorist attack or justified it, saying that Israel occupied Palestinian territory. Every single one of these Western BRICS propagandists chose to spread terror-sympathizing narratives claiming Israel occupied Gaza, about their claim justifying terrorist attacks on Israelis. Did you know that the autonomous region of Tibet is occupied by China? But there are no cases of Tibetan Buddhists attacking Chinese? Did you know that Kashmir, an integral part of India, is occupied by Pakistan, and the Kashmiri Hindus had to flee from their home following a raid by Pakistan-backed Mujahideens? There are no known cases of Kashmiri Hindus attacking Pakistani Muslim settlers for vengeance. Did you know that European settlers, in their search for India, landed in North America and occupied the present-day United States and Canada? There has been little to no instances of native indigenous Americans attacking European settlers of the United States. You will never hear such cases because Tibetans, Kashmiri Hindus, or Native Americans are not radicalized fanatics. And because they are not radicalized fanatics, their occupation and subjugation is ignored and brushed under the carpet. In the post-World War II era, aid and support for Palestine is multiple times higher compared to the collective aid and support given to these 3 victimized communities. Terrorism is a well-established industry with economic benefits, and has been used as a foreign policy by many countries for achieving their strategic interests. From arms and ammunition sales, terror-sympathizing narratives for media headlines, intellectual cover fire from think tanks and experts, radicalization of the youth, as well as using terrorism as a statecraft, can all be linked to geopolitics and geoeconomics. The ongoing Iran-Israel conflict is no exception. Trivia 1. Did you know that 7th October 2023 Hamas terrorist attack took place within a month since the announcement of India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. There are no coincidences in geopolitics, and the link between the two events was evident. Despite the attempt to sabotage new and alternative supply chains, the IMEC corridor has progressed very well. Trivia 2. Since the Iran-Israel conflict escalated after October 2023, Iran has bombed Haifa port and its nearby areas multiple times. Haifa port is one of Indian strategic interests in Israel. However, Israel, a non-BRICS country, has never bombed Iran's Chabahar port, another port which has Indian strategic interest and Indian investments. Where was the BRICS solidarity by self-proclaimed BRICS analysts when Indian interests are bombed? In 2024, before the US elections, American tech CEO Elon Musk launched an online tirade against the Brazilian Supreme Court judge. Similarly, Musk and Trump launched a similar online trend against South Africa in early 2025. Whatever the pretext, it is unacceptable for a Western tech company's CEO to launch personal attacks against leaders and regulatory appointees of BRICS nations. These are internal differences which can be sorted out by the Brazilians and the South Africans without the intervention of external actors. In both these situations, what was the position of all the pro-BRICS Western propagandists? How many of them jumped in to support BRICS countries? In April 2025, a horrific terror attack by Pakistan-sponsored terrorist groups killed civilians in Pahalgam, India. The Russian government and the Chinese government also condemned the terrorism. All the Western BRICS experts chose to spread terror-sympathizing narratives against India, another one of the core BRICS countries. Some used it as an opportunity with the hopes that running anti-India narratives would gain them some brownie points with China. After all, China has made huge investments in Pakistan. India retaliated with Operation Sindoor and struck terror camps within Pakistan on 7th May. In the operation, Chinese JF-17s and Chinese air defense technology used by the Pakistani army were decimated by Indian and Russian weapons. The BRICS experts who gained legitimacy by supporting Russia now chose to switch sides to China support and downplayed the performance of Russian weapons. They are still waiting to be rewarded by China for their support of Pakistan-backed terrorists and anti-India rhetoric. But very soon, in the Iran-Israel conflict, Islamic Republic of Pakistan will play a crucial role in backstabbing the Islamic Republic of Iran. How these Western opportunists switch sides in the coming days will be a public display of fake BRICS news analysis. One might question why Pakistan will stab Iran in the back? Aren't they both Islamic countries and bound by the code of Muslim Brotherhood? Pakistan has a history of backstabbing others. Pakistan was created by the British to cut off India's trade routes on the east and the west. The first betrayal of Pakistan was against its own country and its own people, India, that is Bharat. Father of Pakistan, Barrister Muhammad Ali Jinnah, fought a lawsuit on behalf of the King of Kalat for the independence of Balochistan against the colonial British Empire in 1946. After Pakistan was created in 1947, Pakistani army invaded Balochistan and forcibly annexed the independent state of Balochistan as Pakistani province. The Pakistani army, who claim allegiance to Palestine, entered in the Jordanian Civil War in 1970, and General Ziaul Haq was a key player in the killing of thousands of Palestinians. In 1971, West Pakistan backstabbed East Pakistan, which then became an independent country of present-day Bangladesh. Pakistan, funded by America, played a key role in destabilizing Afghanistan and creating the Taliban. Pakistan played both the sides and backstabbed both the Americans and the Taliban. Many of the Taliban leaders were nabbed and sold to American intelligence, while terrorists responsible for 9/11 terrorist attacks were hiding in Pakistan. With this history, you don't need a so-called BRICS expert to know that Pakistan will backstab Iran. And let me put this on record, when this happens in the near future, these same fake BRICS propagandists will conveniently forget their current pro-Pakistan and pro-Iran analyses and switch sides to begin propaganda on behalf of Turkey. The Iran-Israel conflict is one of the milestones through which the world will move into multipolarity. The book by Dr. Ankit Shah, Geopolitics, Decoding Intents, Narratives, Lies and Future, describes the unfolding of a multipolar world in great detail. It is highly recommended reading for everyone interested in geopolitics. The Iran-Israel conflict, like every other global and regional conflict, is being used by all the Western BRICS propagandists for engagement farming. This is purely the economics of information warfare. Just to add, neither Russia nor China are going to send boots on ground, ammunition or support to fight for Iran. All they will offer are diplomatic statements on international forums. Because Russia and China are aligned to a multipolar world where radical ideologies, fanatic terrorists, and intellectual cover fire for terrorism have no place. How citizens of BRICS countries react to these provocations will determine the success of the fifth-generation warfare being waged against BRICS and in the name of BRICS by the West.